Ancient peoples created technologies that modern science cannot fully explain. By the end of this journey, you will understand 25 lost civilizations whose advanced achievements still defy logic. How did cultures without modern tools move stones heavier than our heaviest machinery? Why did they build structures aligned with stars we can barely see? What common thread of knowledge connects societies separated by oceans and millennia? This exploration reveals that our history books are missing incredible chapters of human innovation. What does it truly mean to say a civilization was primitive? These immense stone circles stood as a silent enigma for millennia, their very existence defying the timeline of human progress. Who were the individuals who carved these pillars with such skill, and what compelled them to undertake such a colossal project? The common narrative tells us that hunter-gatherers were nomadic, focused solely on survival, yet Göbekli Tepe shatters that idea. It suggests a society capable of complex planning, symbolic thought, and coordinated labor on a scale we never attributed to that era. The precision of the carvings, depicting boars, foxes, and birds with remarkable artistry, speaks of a rich cultural and spiritual life. Even more compelling are the astronomical alignments, hinting that these early people were not just looking at the ground for food, but to the heavens for meaning. Then, around 8,000 years before the Common Era, they made a conscious choice to bury their entire sanctuary, layer by layer, preserving it as if for a future generation to find. This act of deliberate concealment is one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. Were they hiding it from something, or honoring it in a way we cannot yet comprehend? This site forces us to rewrite the story of civilization itself, suggesting that advanced community and technological prowess emerged far earlier than we ever believed. From this ancient hilltop, our journey takes us to a different kind of miracle, one born not from stone but from water. The desert seems an unlikely place for a city to bloom, yet the Nabateans saw not barren rock but possibility. They carved their capital, Petra, directly into the rose-red cliffs of Jordan, but their true genius lay hidden beneath the sand. In a land that receives a mere 6 inches of rain each year, they engineered a miracle of water. Their system was a masterpiece of foresight, an intricate network of dams, cisterns, and ceramic pipelines designed to capture every precious drop from seasonal floods. They carved channels into canyon walls, directing torrents of water into vast underground reservoirs. Their terracotta pipes were engineered with a precision that still astonishes hydrologists today, the snugly fitted joints minimizing evaporation and preventing sediment from clogging the flow. This was not merely survival, it was hydrological mastery on a grand scale. How did a civilization without modern mathematics or laser levels achieve such flawless water pressure and distribution? Their hidden infrastructure supported a population of tens of thousands, turning a desert crossroads into a thriving, green metropolis. It stands as a powerful testament to a people who conquered one of humanity's oldest adversaries, aridity itself. This mastery over a fundamental element makes the next achievement seem almost supernatural, for it involves moving the Earth itself on a scale that appears to defy gravity. High in the thin air of the Peruvian Andes, the fortress of Sacsayhuamán presents a stone puzzle that challenges everything we assume about ancient construction. Here, the Inca crafted walls from colossal blocks of limestone, some weighing more than 100 tons, each one cut with a degree of precision that seems to belong to the modern era, not the 15th century. The stones are fitted together in a complex, zigzagging pattern, and the joints between them are so seamless that even a razor blade cannot find a gap. How did they achieve such perfection without iron tools, without the wheel, or without powerful draft animals to move these mountains of rock? The quarries were miles away, up and down steep mountain terrain, making the transport alone a feat that defies logical explanation. Some researchers have proposed they used a method of softening the stone with a plant-based solvent, while local legends speak of acoustic levitation, using sound to make the massive blocks weightless. The walls were not just for defense, they formed a massive solar calendar, with the shadows cast by the stones marking the solstices and equinoxes with unerring accuracy. This was architecture as both fortress and observatory, a testament to a deep, sophisticated understanding of their world. The true method behind this megalithic mastery remains one of history's great secrets, a silent monument to a knowledge system we have yet to rediscover. This desire to map the heavens was not unique to the Andes, as another culture halfway across the world was gazing upward with an ambition that would produce the world's oldest known observatory. Deep in the Central American jungles, a civilization gazed at the stars with an insight that feels almost supernatural. The Maya did not merely observe the heavens, they calculated them with a precision that would not be matched in Europe for over 1,000 years. Their long count calendar measured the solar year to within minutes of our modern atomic calculations, a feat of mathematical genius accomplished without telescopes or mechanical clocks. They tracked the complex dance of Venus with such accuracy that their prediction of its cycles was off by only a single day every 5 centuries. How was this possible? The answer lies in their revolutionary grasp of mathematics. They developed the concept of zero, a profound abstract idea that was absent from the contemporary Roman numeral system, allowing them to perform complex calculations and conceive of vast spans of time. This astronomical knowledge was literally built into their cities. At Chichen Itza, the observatory known as El Caracol, or the Snail, stands as a testament to this celestial mastery. Its narrow windows and strategically placed doors are aligned with the extreme positions of Venus on the horizon and the Sun's path during the equinoxes. This was not a simple temple, it was a precision instrument carved from stone, a computer built for tracking the gods of the sky. Their codices, books made from bark paper, are filled with these complex calculations, revealing a society that saw time itself as a sacred, measurable force. This deep connection to the cosmos, however, finds a startling parallel in a culture that flourished on the other side of the world, one that also turned its eyes upward to build a map of the stars out of the very earth. While the Maya were charting the stars, another culture on the Peruvian coast was mastering the earth with a different kind of genius. The Moche civilization transformed one of the planet's most arid landscapes into a thriving heartland. They built the Huaca del Sol, a colossal adobe pyramid that remains one of the largest man-made structures ever raised in the ancient Americas, a breathtaking feat of organized labor and engineering will. But their true technological prowess lay in their manipulation of materials. They were master metallurgists, creating intricate ornaments from a revolutionary gold-copper alloy called tembaga, which was both dazzling and practical. Their workshops produced objects of stunning complexity, from ceremonial knives to intricate nose ornaments, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of smelting and metalworking that should not have existed in that time and place. This technical mastery extended to the life-giving resource of water. They carved vast networks of irrigation canals that snaked through the desert valleys, capturing water from distant rivers to create fertile farmlands that fed dense urban populations. It is in their ceramic art, however, that we find their most baffling legacy. These are not simple pots, they are detailed records of their world, depicting scenes of fishing, weaving, and ceremonies with vivid realism. Most astonishing are the vessels that show what experts believe are detailed surgical procedures, including trepanation, the delicate practice of drilling into the human skull. The precision suggested by these depictions implies a level of medical knowledge that is difficult to reconcile with a culture that left no written language to explain it. Recent analyses have added another layer to the mystery, revealing evidence of early electroplating techniques, where a thin layer of gold was bonded to other metals through a chemical process. How did they stumble upon the principles of a galvanic cell, a foundational concept of electricity? The Moche's sudden and complete collapse around 800 AD deepens the enigma, leaving their technological secrets buried in the coastal sands. Their legacy is a powerful reminder that the absence of a written record does not mean the absence of profound knowledge. This practice of leaving messages not in words but in the very landscape reaches its ultimate expression with our next civilization, one that drew lines so vast they can only be understood from the sky. Across the coastal plains of southern Peru, the desert floor itself becomes a canvas. Here, the Nazca people etched a sprawling gallery of wonders, creating hundreds of immense geoglyphs that lie invisible to those standing among them. These are not small carvings, but colossal figures of spiders, hummingbirds, and monkeys, some stretching over 600 feet long, alongside geometric shapes and lines that run for miles in arrow-straight precision. They were made by the simple yet painstaking act of removing the dark, sun-baked stones from the surface to reveal the lighter, sandy soil beneath. This created a stark contrast that has endured for nearly 2,000 years. The sheer scale is bewildering. How do you design a perfect hummingbird, its proportions flawless, when you cannot see the entire image? The creators walked across this landscape, unable to perceive the magnificent whole taking shape under their feet. This implies a level of geometric and surveying knowledge that feels almost out of place in time. They must have used sophisticated techniques, perhaps working from small-scale models and using a grid system to transpose the designs onto the colossal desert canvas. The straight lines are a marvel in themselves, maintaining their unerring paths across hills and valleys without modern tools like theodolites or laser levels. Some researchers have proposed the use of simple, yet effective, surveying ropes and stakes, while more speculative theories wonder if they employed kites or even primitive hot air balloons to check their progress from above. The true method remains one of archaeology's great riddles, yet the greater mystery is why. Why dedicate such immense communal effort to art that you can never fully behold? The purpose is deeply obscured by time. Some theories suggest they were celestial pathways aligned with stars and solstices, used for astronomical rituals. Others propose they were sacred pathways for ceremonial walks, or even intricate maps of underground water sources, vital for survival in the harsh desert. Whatever their function, the Nazca lines stand as a breathtaking testament to a civilization that chose to write its most profound messages not on paper, but on the body of the earth itself, creating a puzzle for the sky to read. This profound act of encoding knowledge directly into the landscape finds a powerful echo in another ancient culture, one that transformed an entire island into a giant, silent compass. While the Nazca were creating vast messages for the sky to read, another civilization was hiding a world of its own, not on the surface but deep within the earth. Beneath the otherworldly rock formations of Cappadocia in Turkey, the landscape holds a secret far more complex than its fairy chimneys. Here, the ancient builders of Derinkuyu carved an entire city into the soft volcanic rock, a subterranean metropolis descending 18 levels into the darkness. This was not a simple cave network, but a meticulously engineered refuge capable of sheltering up to 20,000 individuals. along with their livestock, food supplies, and places of worship. The sheer scale is staggering, a project that would be ambitious even with modern machinery. How did its architects achieve such a feat? They possessed a masterful understanding of geology and structural mechanics, carving out living spaces, stables, churches, and even wineries while ensuring the entire complex remained stable. The deep, narrow ventilation shafts, some plunging over 280 feet, provided a constant supply of fresh air to even the lowest levels, a brilliant solution to one of underground living's greatest challenges. They dug their own protected water wells and sealed entire sections with massive, circular stone doors, each weighing several hundred pounds and rolling into place to block corridors from potential threats. The precision involved in preventing catastrophic collapse across so many levels speaks to a knowledge system handed down through generations of underground builders. This hidden city stands as one of history's most profound examples of communal defense and environmental adaptation, a testament to the human instinct to preserve life against all odds. From this deep, enclosed world, we now ascend to a civilization whose ambition reached in the opposite direction, building not downward for safety, but upward in a breathtaking display of celestial alignment and social organization. The Great Pyramid of Giza is a monument of impossible precision. Its four sides align with the cardinal directions with an accuracy modern engineers struggle to replicate, a perfect square oriented to true north. This is not the work of chance, but of a civilization possessing a profound and now lost understanding of the Earth itself. How did they achieve such alignment without a compass, using only the stars as their guide? The scale of construction is even more baffling. Over 2 million stone blocks, some heavier than a military tank, were quarried, transported across the Nile, and lifted into place with joints so tight you cannot slide a piece of paper between them. The pyramid's very dimensions whisper mathematical secrets, with a ratio of its perimeter to its height equaling twice pi, and the golden ratio seemingly encoded throughout its geometry. These are not rough approximations, but calculations of stunning exactitude. The builders also demonstrated a masterful knowledge of astronomy, with the pyramid's air shafts perfectly aligned with specific stars central to their spiritual beliefs. This was architecture as a unified science, blending mathematics, astronomy, and geodesy into a single, silent testament to knowledge. The methods remain a heated debate. Did they use massive, spiraling ramps built from sand and rubble? Were they leveraging water channels to float the stones into position? Or did they possess a now-forgotten technology for softening or even acoustically manipulating stone? Some researchers have even pointed to curious acoustic properties within the structure, suggesting the pyramid may have been designed to amplify specific energies or frequencies, a concept that pushes the boundaries of our understanding of its purpose. This architectural perfection, born from a culture deeply connected to the cosmos, finds a fascinating parallel in another society that also built with celestial purpose, yet for a radically different reason. England's Salisbury Plain holds a circle of stones that has captivated humanity for thousands of years. Stonehenge stands not as a random collection of rocks, but as a sophisticated astronomical instrument carved from the landscape. Its Neolithic architects achieved a feat of both engineering and cosmic insight, arranging massive bluestones transported from the Preseli Hills in Wales, a staggering journey of 150 miles. The sheer logistics of moving these multi-ton stones across rivers, valleys, and hills remain a profound puzzle. Without the wheel or metal tools, how did they accomplish this? Theories suggest they may have used a system of sledges, rollers, and rafts, a monumental effort requiring the coordinated labor of generations. yet the greater mystery lies in the precision of its placement. The entire monument is a celestial calendar. On the summer solstice, the sun rises directly over the heel stone, casting its rays into the heart of the circle, while the winter solstice sunset aligns perfectly between the towering trilithons. This was not a lucky guess, it was deliberate, repeated, and exact. Even more astonishing is the potential of the Aubrey holes, the ring of pits surrounding the stones. Researchers propose these pits, used with moving marker stones, could predict lunar eclipses through a complex 56-year cycle. This implies a long-term, meticulous observation of the heavens, a scientific practice that allowed them to anticipate celestial events with remarkable accuracy. The purpose behind this colossal effort is clear. This was a society that saw its own existence as intrinsically woven into the fabric of the cosmos. Their world was governed by cycles of sun and moon, and they built a machine of stone to understand their place within it. This deep connection to cosmic order finds a different expression in a civilization that applied similar principles of precision not to the sky, but to the very layout of their cities. While other ancient cities grew organically, the Indus Valley civilization was built from a master plan. The streets of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were laid out in a perfect grid, a concept of urban order that would not become standard again for over 4,000 years. This was not a haphazard collection of dwellings, it was a meticulously engineered metropolis. Every brick, from the foundations of the houses to the walls of the Great Bath, conformed to a standardized ratio, a universal module that speaks of a powerful central authority or a deeply ingrained cultural consensus on quality and measurement. This uniformity is staggering when you consider their territory stretched over an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. How did they enforce such precise standards across such vast distances without the rapid communication we take for granted? Their most revolutionary achievement, however, lay beneath the streets. They constructed the world's first known integrated urban sanitation system. Nearly every house had its own bathing area and a dedicated waste disposal chute, all connected to a network of covered, centralized drains that ran the length of the main avenues. This was a society that understood public health on a municipal level, an idea that would be lost and then painfully rediscovered millennia later. The crown jewel of their hydraulic engineering was the Great Bath, a massive, waterproofed pool that may have served a vital ritual or social function. Its construction was a marvel, using precisely fitted bricks sealed with a natural tar to create a tank that held water without leaking. This attention to water management, from the grand bath to the smallest household drain, points to a civilization that had mastered its environment with a quiet, systematic efficiency. Yet for all their technological prowess, their voice is silent to us. Their written script, found on thousands of small seals, remains undeciphered, a locked door to their thoughts and their history. Their civilization did not end in a dramatic, fiery collapse, but seemed to fade. Their orderly cities gradually abandoned around 1900 BC. This peaceful disappearance only deepens the enigma, leaving behind the ghost of a perfectly planned world, a testament to a practical genius we can see but cannot fully hear. This legacy of precise, almost modern engineering finds a strange and beautiful echo in a set of artifacts that seem to defy the timeline of human discovery entirely. Inside a museum in Baghdad sits a simple clay jar, an artifact that quietly overturns the entire history of science. Found in the 1930s amidst Parthian ruins, this unassuming pot contained a copper cylinder housing an iron rod, all sealed with an asphalt plug. When researchers filled it with an acidic substance like vinegar or grape juice, it generated a small but measurable electric current, around 1.5 volts. This was not a theoretical concept, it was a working electrochemical cell, a battery created 2,000 years before Alessandro Volta invented his voltaic pile in the 19th century. What possible use could an ancient society have for a steady, low-level electrical charge? The most plausible theory points to electroplating, using the current to bond a thin layer of gold or silver onto other metals, a practice that would explain the exquisite mirror-like finishes on some Parthian artifacts that have long puzzled historians. Another compelling idea suggests these batteries were used in religious or healing rituals, where a mild, tingling shock from a metal statue could have been interpreted as a divine touch or a mystical experience. The implications are staggering. It means the fundamental principles of electricity were not a modern discovery, but an ancient one, a piece of knowledge that was found, used for a specific purpose, and then lost to time for centuries. This single clay pot forces us to ask a profound question. How many other foundational technologies were invented, used, and then forgotten, leaving only faint echoes in the archaeological record? This glimpse of ancient electrical knowledge makes the next mystery seem almost plausible, a civilization that may have mastered a different kind of elemental force to shape its world. The stones of Puma Punku do not look ancient. Scattered across the Bolivian Altiplano, these shattered andesite and red sandstone blocks appear freshly machined, their surfaces unnaturally smooth, their edges sharp enough to cut. Each slab is a geometric puzzle, carved with perfect right angles and complex, interlocking channels that fit together with a precision that defies belief. Some of these blocks weigh more than 100 tons, yet they were cut and shaped with a level of accuracy that would require computer-guided machinery today. The drill holes are perfectly cylindrical and consistent in diameter, as if made by a modern power tool, not a hand-powered drill. How does a culture without iron tools, let alone electricity, achieve such flawless work on one of the hardest stones on Earth? The Tiwanaku people left no written records to explain their methods, only these shattered monuments to a technology that seems out of place in time. Some researchers have proposed a theory that sounds more like science fiction than archaeology, that they used sonic vibrations to temporarily soften the stone, making it pliable like clay, allowing them to mold and cut it with ease before it hardened back to its original state. Whether through sound or some other lost technique, the evidence suggests they possessed a profound understanding of material science, a knowledge system that allowed them to treat stone not as an obstacle, but as a medium to be shaped with impossible precision. This mastery over the physical world finds a stunning parallel in a civilization that turned its genius inward, achieving a different kind of precision that saved lives instead of shaping stone. Deep in the Indus Valley, a society was performing medical procedures that would not become common practice for another 3,000 years. On the sun-scorched coast of Peru, the Paracas culture achieved something that seems to defy the very era in which they lived. They performed complex brain surgery. This practice, known as trepanation, involved the delicate process of drilling, cutting, or scraping a hole into the human skull. What is truly staggering is not that they attempted this, but that their patients frequently survived. Archaeological evidence from excavated remains provides a clear record of their success. We can see the telltale signs of healing, with new bone growth smoothing the edges of the surgical openings, proof that individuals lived for years after the procedure. How did they achieve this with only obsidian blades and perhaps a knowledge of local plants for numbing or preventing infection? Their techniques reveal a startling anatomical understanding. They knew precisely where to cut and how deep to go to avoid major blood vessels and protect the delicate brain tissue beneath. This was not crude experimentation. It was a refined medical practice, likely passed down through generations of skilled surgeons. The reasons for such operations remain a subject of study, perhaps intended to relieve pressure from head injuries or to treat persistent ailments or even for spiritual purposes. Whatever the motivation, the Paracas leave us with an undeniable truth. Advanced medicine, with its focus on healing and the intricate knowledge of the human body, is not solely a modern invention. It is an ancient art, one whose secrets are still being unearthed. This mastery over the physical form stands in stark contrast to the next civilization's genius, which was focused not on the body, but on creating a substance so perfect it has endured for millennia. Roman concrete was not merely strong, it was alive. While their aqueducts and roads are legendary, the true genius of Roman engineering lies beneath the waves. At the harbor of Caesarea Maritima, they poured concrete directly into the sea to create breakwaters, and something remarkable happened. Instead of crumbling under the constant assault of saltwater, the concrete grew stronger. For nearly 2,000 years, these submerged structures have endured, while our modern Portland cement requires constant repair in similar conditions. The secret was a specific recipe using volcanic ash, lime, and seawater that triggered a unique chemical reaction. This process formed rare, interlocking minerals that actually blocked further cracks from spreading, a self-healing technology we are only now beginning to comprehend with advanced tools. This empirical mastery reaches its zenith in Rome itself, with the Pantheon's majestic dome. It remains the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome, a perfect hemisphere that has withstood earthquakes, wars, and the elements since the reign of Hadrian. Its very existence defies conventional engineering. How did they calculate the precise gradation of the concrete mix, using lighter, porous stone at the top of the dome to reduce weight without sacrificing integrity? They achieved this through centuries of observation and refinement, a slow, meticulous accumulation of material science that modern chemistry has struggled to reverse engineer. This was not accidental discovery, but a sustained technological tradition that has been lost to time. The Romans built with a confidence that their creations would outlast their empire, embedding a form of advanced practical knowledge into the very mortar between their stones. This practice of encoding profound understanding finds a different expression in a civilization that wove its knowledge not into architecture, but into the fabric of its stories and myths. Hidden within the poetic hymns of ancient India's Vedas lies a numerical revolution. These sacred texts, composed over millennia, contain the foundational seeds of modern mathematics. They gave the world the decimal place value system, a concept so elegant it made complex calculation possible. More profound still was their formulation of the idea of zero, of nothingness as a tangible, calculable entity, a philosophical and mathematical leap that would not occur in the West for over 1,000 years. This was not merely counting, it was a new way of seeing the universe through numbers. The Sulba Sutras, practical manuals for constructing ceremonial altars, reveal a startling grasp of geometry. They detail precise rules for creating squares and circles of equal area, and they explicitly state the theorem that in a right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse equals the sum of the squares of the other two sides, a principle fully understood long before the Greek mathematician Pythagoras was born. Their astronomical insights were equally profound. The Surya Siddhanta, a complex treatise, calculated the Earth's diameter with an accuracy that would not be matched in Europe for centuries. It even describes a model of the solar system where the planets orbit the Sun, a heliocentric understanding that predated Copernicus by more than a millennium. How did these scholars, without telescopes or advanced instruments, achieve such celestial precision? Their legacy suggests a tradition of intense observation and intellectual rigor, a scientific culture that encoded its deepest discoveries within its spiritual texts, ensuring their preservation across the ages. This drive to map the cosmos through precise measurement finds a breathtaking parallel in a civilization that turned an entire island into a celestial compass. The celestial blueprint of Angkor Wat is written in stone and water. This sprawling temple complex in Cambodia is far more than a collection of sacred buildings. It is a perfect fusion of cosmic ambition and earthly genius. The central tower of Angkor Wat is positioned with breathtaking precision, so that on the morning of the spring equinox, the sun rises directly over its pinnacle, a moment of perfect alignment that bathes the entire structure in symbolic light. This was no accident. The entire city of Angkor Thom is laid out as a terrestrial map of the Draco constellation, but not as it appears in our night sky. Its geometry mirrors the position of the stars as they would have been seen in 10,500 BC, a date that predates the Khmer Empire by millennia. This suggests the builders were working from an ancient astronomical tradition, a body of celestial knowledge preserved and passed down through countless generations before being set permanently into their city plan. To support a population approaching 1 million people, they engineered a hydraulic marvel. An intricate network of reservoirs, canals, and massive moats did more than just defend the city. They regulated water for agriculture, preventing both flood and drought in a landscape defined by monsoons. The West Barre Reservoir alone is a staggering 5 miles long and 1.4 miles wide, an artificial lake that stands as one of the largest pre-industrial engineering projects ever undertaken. How did they coordinate such celestial precision with the management of one of the world's largest urban centers? The answer lies in a worldview that saw no separation between the heavens and the earth, between spiritual order and practical necessity. Their technology was not just about moving water or stacking stones. It was about building a mirror of the cosmos on Earth, a sacred machine designed to harmonize human life with the eternal rhythms of the universe. This profound integration of cosmology and engineering stands as a unique achievement, a testament to a civilization that built its own reality. From this grand vision of a terrestrial cosmos, we turn to a collection of artifacts that hint at an even more audacious understanding of the world, one that seems to defy the very laws of their time. Within a quiet museum case in Cairo rests an object that seems to defy its own timeline. Known as the Saqqara bird, this small wooden artifact discovered in a burial site has the sleek, tapered wings of a glider and a distinct vertical tail fin, a feature no bird in nature possesses. Mainstream archaeology classifies it as a ceremonial bird model or a child's toy, yet its specific design has captivated a different group of analysts, modern aeronautical engineers. When scaled up and tested in wind tunnels, replicas of this unusual model have demonstrated surprising aerodynamic properties, showing a capacity for generating lift. This single artifact raises a tantalizing, though highly speculative, question. Could it be a model of a larger working glider, a proof of concept for a technology that was never fully realized or has been lost to the sands of time? The mystery deepens on the walls of the Temple of Abydos, where strange hieroglyphs appear to the modern eye as clear depictions of a helicopter, a submarine, and even a futuristic aircraft. Egyptologists provide a rational explanation for this phenomenon, a palimpsest effect where the original carvings of royal titles were chiseled away and recarved over centuries, causing the overlapping symbols to accidentally form these familiar machine-like shapes. Yet for those who ponder lost knowledge, the coincidence feels almost too perfect. Are we seeing the literal erasure of history, where the real meaning of these images was overwritten by later generations? or is our own technologically saturated mind simply projecting its own reality onto the sacred symbols of the past? The debate may never be fully settled, but it forces a fascinating reflection on the nature of discovery. How many times has human ingenuity stumbled upon a profound principle, only for that knowledge to fade into myth or be mistaken for a toy, waiting centuries for someone to recognize its true form? This puzzle of potential ancient flight finds a compelling parallel in a civilization whose mastery was not of the air, but of fire and metal, creating objects of such perfection they should not exist. Standing in the quiet courtyard of the Qut complex in Delhi is a 7-ton iron pillar that has defied the most relentless force of nature, time itself. Forged around 400 AD, this towering column of iron has withstood 16 centuries of monsoon rains and humid air without succumbing to the red-brown decay of rust. Its pristine surface is a silent challenge to our modern understanding of metallurgy, a technological marvel from an age we often mislabel as primitive. The secret lies not in a magical coating, but in the very composition of the metal and the ingenious process used to create it. Ancient Indian metalworkers, through a method lost to us, crafted the pillar with an unusually high phosphorus content and very low sulfur and manganese. This specific recipe, combined with the unique conditions of its initial forging, allowed a thin, protective layer called mesawite to form on the surface. This passive film acts as a perfect, self-renewing shield, preventing oxygen and moisture from ever reaching the pure iron beneath. Modern scientists can analyze this layer, but have been unable to perfectly reproduce the pillar on such a scale, as our industrial processes introduce impurities that prevent the formation of this stable protective barrier. How did these master smiths, working with simple furnaces, develop such a sophisticated recipe? Their achievement speaks of a profound, empirical knowledge of material science, a tradition of observation and refinement that allowed them to create a monument meant to last for eternity. This single pillar forces us to reconsider the entire technological landscape of the ancient world, where such advanced knowledge was clearly present, even if its full scope is now lost to us. While one civilization was perfecting the art of preservation in metal, another was achieving a different kind of perfection, building a machine of gears and cycles to predict the cosmos itself. Beneath the waves off the coast of a Greek island, a lump of corroded bronze lay hidden for 2,000 years, its secret waiting for the modern world to catch up. When divers recovered the Antikythera mechanism from an ancient shipwreck, they had no idea they were holding the most technologically complex object to survive from the classical world. This was not a statue or a simple tool, but a sophisticated analog computer, a device of at least 30 interlocking bronze gears housed in a wooden case no larger than a shoebox. Crafted in the 2nd century before the Common Era, its purpose was to predict the cosmos. By turning a hand crank, the user could advance time forward or backward, watching as a series of tiny dials and pointers displayed the positions of the sun, the moon, and the known planets against the backdrop of the zodiac. It could forecast lunar and solar eclipses with remarkable accuracy, not just for the coming year, but for decades into the future. It even calculated the timing of the ancient Olympic Games and accounted for the subtle irregularities in the moon's orbit, a feat requiring a brilliant piece of engineering known as a differential gear. This component, which allows 2 axes to rotate at different speeds, is a principle found in the transmission of a modern car, yet here it was, operating in a mechanism built before the birth of Christ. How did Hellenistic craftsmen, without precision lathes or micrometer gauges, design and manufacture gears with teeth cut to such fine tolerances? The device stands as a lone survivor, hinting at a lost tradition of Greek mechanical engineering that historical records have almost entirely overlooked. Its very existence suggests that the conceptual leap from simple mechanics to complex computation happened far earlier than we ever documented. This single artifact rewrites the timeline of technology, proving that the ancient world was capable of mechanical genius we once believed was impossible. From this intricate machine designed to map the heavens, we journey to a civilization that created a different kind of guide, one meant for navigating the vast, unknown Earth. A map drawn in 1513 should not contain the impossible, yet the Piri Reis map compiled by the Ottoman admiral of the same name does exactly that. It charts the coast of South America with uncanny accuracy and, more astonishingly, includes the northern coastline of Antarctica, a continent that would remain officially undiscovered for another 300 years. The most baffling detail is that this Antarctic coast is shown free of its immense ice sheet, a configuration that perfectly matches the subglacial topography revealed by modern seismic surveys. How could a 16th-century cartographer depict a landmass buried under miles of ice for millennia? Admiral Reis himself provided a clue, writing that he compiled his work from older source maps, some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. This suggests a chain of knowledge, a cartographic tradition passed down through libraries and seafaring cultures that possessed a sophisticated understanding of the world's geography long before the age of European exploration. The implication is staggering that ancient mariners may have undertaken global voyages, mapping coastlines with a precision that would not be replicated for centuries. Their methods and vessels remain a mystery, their journeys lost to time, leaving behind only this cryptic parchment as evidence of a world once known. This mastery over the grand scale of geography finds a parallel in a civilization that directed its immense talent inward toward the creation of a perfectly planned city. The true genius of the Khmer Empire was not just in carving temples, but in mastering the rhythm of water itself. While Angkor Wat's celestial alignments capture our imagination, the sprawling metropolis of Angkor was kept alive by a hidden lattice of hydraulic engineering. This was a city built for water, designed to tame the violent monsoon seasons and store its life-giving rains for the long, dry months that followed. At the heart of this system were the immense barrays, artificial reservoirs that acted as the city's beating heart. The West Barray remains an almost unbelievable feat, a perfectly rectangular body of water stretching 5 miles long and 1.5 miles wide, all excavated and contained by human hands. This was not a simple pond, it was a strategic reserve, a massive battery storing millions of gallons of water to sustain a population approaching 1 million people. The system's intelligence was in its distribution. A complex network of canals, channels, and intricate sluice gates functioned like valves and arteries, directing water from the reservoirs to the rice paddies that fed the empire. They engineered the landscape with a subtle, profound understanding of gravity and flow, creating a managed ecosystem that prevented catastrophic floods during the rains and staved off famine during the drought. How did they achieve such perfect gradients and water pressure across dozens of square miles without modern laser levels or theodolites? Their methods remain elusive, but the result was a hydraulic machine of staggering complexity and foresight, a pinnacle of urban planning that turned a seasonal challenge into a permanent advantage. This deep, chemical understanding of their environment finds a startling parallel in a civilization that was experimenting with the very elements, creating reactions that should not have been possible for another 1,000 years. A flame that never dies is a defiance of nature itself. In the heart of ancient Persia, Zoroastrian priests were not just spiritual leaders, but master engineers of fire. Their temples safeguarded sacred flames that burned for centuries, a continuous light that required more than faith to sustain. These were not simple campfires, but sophisticated systems fueled by natural gas seeping from the earth below. They engineered intricate networks of ceramic pipes to capture these invisible seepages, channeling the volatile gas from its source to the temple's inner sanctum. The challenge was immense, controlling a flammable, unpredictable resource without the metals or plastics we rely on today. Their solution was architectural genius. The fire temples were designed with precise ventilation shafts and wind-catching towers that created a controlled, steady airflow, protecting the eternal flame from being snuffed out by gusts or suffocated by its own exhaust. This was a practical application of fluid dynamics, ensuring the gas burned cleanly and consistently. The most famous of these, the Atash Baram fire in Yazd, is believed to have burned continuously for over 1,500 years. Imagine the knowledge required to maintain such a flame across generations, through wars and changing dynasties. It speaks of a deep, empirical understanding of pressure regulation and combustion control, a chemical mastery achieved through centuries of observation. How did they prevent explosions or leaks with their ceramic conduits? Their success points to a tradition of meticulous craftsmanship and a profound reverence for the elemental force they harnessed. This was not mere ritual, it was a sustained technological achievement, a partnership with the planet's hidden energies. This mastery over a fundamental element finds a strange and beautiful parallel in a civilization that turned its genius to the stars, creating a single object that seems to contain the entire cosmos in a tangle of bronze gears. A perfectly carved life-sized skull made from a single block of clear quartz crystal seems to defy the tools and knowledge of the ancient world. The most famous of these, the Mitchell Hedges skull, is a masterpiece of optical and lapidary art, carved with a jaw that detaches and fits with seamless precision. To shape a material as hard as quartz crystal, which sits just below diamond on the scale of hardness, would require tools and techniques that mainstream archaeology does not attribute to pre-Columbian cultures. How could an artisan without industrial diamond-tipped drills and polishing wheels achieve such a flawless, transparent form? The mystery deepens when considering the skull's reported optical qualities. Some researchers have noted that the crystal was carved in such a way that light is channeled through the interior, causing the eye sockets to illuminate from within when a light source is placed below. This suggests the carver possessed not just skill, but a sophisticated, intuitive understanding of crystallography and light refraction. While many of these skulls held in museum collections have been conclusively shown through modern analysis to be 19th or 20th century creations, the debate over a potential few has never fully been settled. The core question remains: if any are genuinely ancient, what forgotten method did these master carvers employ? Could they have used a patient, generations-long process of abrasion with sand and water, guided by a profound cultural reverence for the stone itself? This enigma sits at the crossroads of archaeology and advanced material science, a glittering puzzle that challenges our perception of ancient technological limits. From these intricate, handheld mysteries of crystal and light, our journey now expands to a civilization that directed its ambition outward, building an entire city as a reflection of the cosmos. The Najdra temple complex on Malta stands as a silent stone timekeeper. Built around 3600 BC, its structures predate even the Great Pyramid of Giza by a full millennium. Here, Neolithic builders arranged massive slabs of coralline limestone into a celestial instrument of breathtaking accuracy. On the equinoxes, the first rays of the sun slice through the main doorway, illuminating a central slab with a narrow, precise band of light. During the solstices, the light enters through different apertures, painting specific stones and markers along the interior walls. This is not a vague alignment, but a sophisticated solar calendar that continues to mark the turning of the seasons with unerring precision today. How did a culture without written language or metal tools achieve such an exact understanding of solar movement? The engineering challenge was immense. They had to quarry, transport, and erect these multi-ton blocks, then position them with an exact orientation that would hold true for thousands of years. The slightest miscalculation in the angle of a doorway or the placement of an opening would throw the entire calendar off, rendering it useless. This implies generations of meticulous astronomical observation, a tradition of watching the sun's path with a patience and focus we can scarcely comprehend. Their work represents one of Europe's earliest and most enduring technological marvels, a stone computer built to harmonize human life with the cosmic cycle. This profound connection to the heavens brings us to our final civilization and one of archaeology's most intimate and puzzling artifacts. Su Song's astronomical clock tower rose 12 meters into the Kaifeng sky, a symphony of water, bronze, and ambition. Completed in 1092, this colossal timepiece was an engineering marvel that should not have existed in its era. Its heart was an endless power-transmitting chain drive, a continuous loop of interconnected links that moved with the smooth efficiency of a modern bicycle chain, a concept Europe would not grasp for another 200 years. Even more revolutionary was its escapement mechanism, a clever device that regulated the machine's power, transforming a relentless flow of water into the measured, ticking cadence of a clock. This 40-foot tower was more than a clock, it was a celestial theater. Powered by a constant water wheel, its intricate assembly of gears and wheels tracked the complex paths of stars and planets across the heavens. At precise moments, automated figurines emerged from behind doors, ringing bells and beating drums to announce the time and mark the changing seasons for the officials who gathered below. The sophistication of its gear systems, with their precisely calculated tooth profiles, represents a zenith of medieval mechanical innovation. How did Song Dynasty engineers achieve such complex precision without the standardized manufacturing or machine tools we assume are necessary? Their genius lay in a tradition of meticulous empirical observation and a culture that valued astronomical accuracy above all. They built a machine that was both a practical instrument and a philosophical statement, a physical model of the cosmic order they sought to understand. This tower stands as a powerful reminder that the drive for mechanical mastery and precision engineering emerged independently and brilliantly across the globe. Having journeyed from the stone circles of Göbekli Tepe to the geared clockwork of Song China, a profound question begins to take shape. What connects these 25 disparate cultures across oceans and millennia, from the deserts of Peru to the plains of Salisbury? It is not a single technology, but a shared spark of human ingenuity, a relentless drive to understand the forces that govern our world. Each civilization looked upon the same sky, the same earth, and the same human condition, and asked how they could measure it, master it, and leave a mark for the ages. They possessed a deep, integrated knowledge where science, art, and spirituality were not separate realms, but different expressions of the same universal truth. They teach us that progress is not a straight line, but a great branching tree with peaks of achievement that can be reached, lost, and then reached again by different hands in different times. Their legacy is a humbling and inspiring challenge to our modern assumptions, a silent call to wonder what incredible knowledge we ourselves may have yet to discover, or perhaps have already forgotten. These scattered achievements across time and space begin to form a constellation, revealing a deeper story of human potential. A single thread connects Göbekli Tepe's stone calendars to the Maya's Venus tables and the celestial alignments of Angkor Wat. Each of these cultures, working in isolation, turned their gaze upward and meticulously mapped the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars. This shared pursuit suggests that astronomy was not merely a spiritual practice, but a fundamental engine of scientific discovery. The need to predict seasons for planting, to navigate vast oceans, or to align sacred architecture forced a precision of observation and mathematics that propelled entire fields of knowledge forward. It was humanity's first great scientific collaboration, conducted separately but aimed at the same cosmic truths. Equally compelling is the mysterious echo of stonework mastery that reverberates from the Andes to the Egyptian desert. The seamless joins of Sacsayhuamán, the machine-cut appearance of Puma Punku, and the impossible precision of the Great Pyramid all point toward a sophisticated understanding of materials. While we may never know if this knowledge was independently discovered each time or faintly transmitted along forgotten trade routes, the result is the same. Cultures separated by oceans arrived at a similar conclusion, that stone could be persuaded, softened, or cut with a level of exactitude that we struggle to explain even with our advanced tools. This points to a universal human capacity for material science, born from patience, observation, and a deep, tactile relationship with the natural world. Perhaps the most practical pattern lies in the response to environmental pressure. The Nabateans in their desert, the Khmer with their monsoons, and the Indus Valley civilization on its floodplain all faced existential challenges related to water. Their survival depended on innovation, leading to the creation of vast underground cisterns, sprawling canal networks, and the world's first integrated urban sanitation. Necessity truly was the mother of invention, driving these societies to engineer solutions of breathtaking complexity and foresight. They did not simply adapt to their environment, they rewrote its rules through sheer intellectual will. So what do these recurring themes tell us? They suggest that extraordinary technological leaps are not random accidents, but the product of a powerful convergence. When human curiosity is focused by cultural priority and sharpened by environmental necessity, the boundaries of the possible expand dramatically. These civilizations teach us that innovation is a deeply human trait, one that flourishes under specific, repeatable conditions. Their greatest lesson, however, may be one of fragility, the loss of the Antikythera mechanism's engineering tradition, the forgotten recipe for Roman concrete, the undeciphered script of the Indus Valley, all stand as stark reminders that knowledge is not a permanent possession. It is a flame that must be carefully tended and passed from one generation to the next. These 25 lost civilizations challenge us to look at our own world and wonder, what pinnacles of our own understanding might one day become puzzles for a future age to rediscover. Our journey through these ancient worlds reveals a profound truth, that human ingenuity has flourished in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. From the celestial calendars of the Maya to the seamless stonework of the Inca, these are not isolated anomalies but part of a vast tapestry of lost knowledge. Each civilization, in its own time and place, confronted the limits of their world and pushed beyond them, developing technologies that still challenge our modern assumptions. While researchers meticulously piece together the practical methods behind these wonders, the full story speaks to something deeper than mere technique. It speaks to the incredible potential of the human spirit when driven by curiosity, cultural purpose, and a determination to shape a legacy. The enduring enigmas left behind are an open invitation. They ask us to remain open-minded, to look at the past not as a closed book but as a library of forgotten wisdom. They encourage us to question the linear narrative of progress and to appreciate the profound depths of understanding our ancestors achieved. As we continue to unravel these ancient puzzles, each new discovery expands our sense of what is possible when creativity is fueled by generations of focused effort. We would love to hear which of these technological mysteries resonates most with you. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this exploration into history's greatest enigmas, be sure to subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.